Hi there, my name is Maria. I'm a game designer and developer, and on this channel, I'm documenting my journey of breaking into the games industry. Today, I'm here with my husband. Now, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Marat, and I'm a lifelong and passionate gamer.
Marat and me has been together for more than 10 years now, and we started dating based on our common shared interest of gaming,
es-
and
Especially in Skyrim. And our
especially in
first
Skyrim.
conversation was literally about just how we progress in Skyrim and which books we read.
But also where we've met, we've only been 15, so naturally each of us acquired their own education. And while I became a game designer, Marat did not. So I really wanted to record a video to discuss what it takes for someone to become from a gamer to a game designer, whether you should become a game designer if you're a passionate gamer, and what are the positive and negative aspects of this job as from the perspective from within and from the outside. I wanted to start kind of with your childhood and work our way from there. So can you just tell me a little bit about which games did you play, and if you ever uh, had a thought of like, oh, I want to make games and I want to make games like this?
So the first game ever which I played is the Pirates of the Caribbean. Probably it's not the most, most popular game in the world, but it was also made by Bethesda in its earlier years. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's pirates and it's an RPG, and you can sail ships. You play as a captain, you build your crew, kinda. I mean, you have officers, you can hire them, and you just, yeah, there is a main quest line. There are some small quests in like different towns, but yeah, I mean, it's an RPG and it's a pirates RPG, and it's the best game I've ever played, I think. I mean, I was creating my own narrative even in this one, uh, since it wasn't just enough for me to like follow I don't know, it was only one quest, not much else, not much additional ones. So I don't know, you just like sail to different islands, you like buy stuff, sell stuff, and somehow I managed to create my own way to play this game eventually, not maybe as intended by the developers even. I've always liked imagining stuff, even like playing with Legos, just also building my own stuff and kind of like movies in my head.
I love this, and I think that a lot of people engage in this meta gameplay in like video games and overall beyond the video games as well, because like you've played also outside, right? Like you had some friends and you made some games and
Yeah.
narratives like together. So in my opinion, like do we even become game designers or do we stop becoming game designers? I mean, do we stop being game designers? Do we stop making games?
When I had a lot of friends, probably when I was 10, and we shared all these games, we had CDs which we
Mhm.
lent to each other, then we kind of shared our experience. Maybe we played even together, I don't know, going to each other's houses and everything else. But honestly, I think I've missed this creative urge to make game modes, I mean, modifications, everything, like custom maps or custom skins, custom weapons. Even though I played Call of Duty 4, which even in its like early multiplayer years had possibility of doing something like this. I've been building meta gameplay, as you've mentioned,
Yeah.
yeah, but I've never had a desire to build something from start to finish, like a literal game.
I myself, I've also been creating my meta narratives as a child, and I've been mostly playing The Sims 2. And
And Cake Mania,
well, yeah, but The Sims 2, I feel like I have like more than like maybe thousands of
yeah,
hours. Especially in the Sims community, people don't like to do what developers intend to, and they do
yeah,
like 100 baby challenges or like creating
yeah,
cows or like
naked
something
mods.
else. Well, no, it's
Oops.
not necessarily like this, but I've also been, like even before there were like any DLCs or like Magic or something else, I've been playing like I don't know Harry Potter
Yeah,
or like creating my own narratives. And I've been thinking a lot about, okay, but what if this game that I'm playing would actually exist? So didn't you have this
yeah.
urge? Didn't you ever want to create a video game for
Unfortunately,
yourself?
no. I've been enjoying the stuff which other people have created, but
Mm-hmm.
no, honestly, no. If you think about that, it's more like being a power user of something, like you You know everything from like you know the small details in every game, but you don't want to change anything too much. You just want to be like, I know this, I can use this, I'm a professional, but no, not something again from start to finish. No. I've made it interesting, but for myself and for friends, not for. I didn't have a desire to make it for like lots of people.
And kind of moving forward, then we basically met each other, right? We've been in high school. Once you met me, an art school kid who potentially thinks about going into gaming and making games, like being near the person who wants to become a game designer, or at least who looks at this direction. Have you ever wanted to look at this direction together with me?
The only thing I wanted and I thought I would be doing with the is
Hmm.
really writing code because I was much into programming when I met you. It's been my second year of learning Python,
Hmm.
not at school, but just like at programming school. And it's been interesting. And I thought that my future career will be connected to programming and everything else with development.
Hmm.
In that way, I thought that we would be working together, but not in any creative kind of thing of that. And then I also remember that I've been into writing scripts for films,
Hmm.
but I didn't pursue this. So even though it could have been developed into something writing scripts for games, but no.
Yeah,
I remember that you've been dreaming of working at Bethesda, if you mentioned Bethesda again.
I did.
How their office looks from inside. You've
Yeah,
been,
I have
yeah,
I have literally a folder on my computer. I had a folder on my computer
yeah, like
dedicated to
dreams.
completely, oh, it was called
Yeah.
All of My Dreams. And it was literally just offices of Bethesda, which looking back weren't even that good because it was, just like open plan,
Yeah.
kind of like it's a lot of tables. But for me, it was something completely different because, growing in the country where we've been growing,
Yeah.
like I think we were used to like either the very white collar job, like boring office type of stuff,
Yeah.
or like something I don't know in the fields, like blue collar,
Yeah.
making like I don't know,
Either you
like
work at the
collecting
factory
vegetables.
or you work at the government. Yeah, nothing much.
Yeah, and for me, when I like first I played Skyrim, and it was probably the game which persuaded me the most to start game dev because it was so versatile. I decided to look who made this game and where this game was made, and when I saw this like open like offices with I don't know like dragons
Yeah.
and like different like figurines and like people just wearing whatever they want and like doing whatever they want, like back then what it was like 2014,
Yeah.
2013, it was like mind
It
blowing for
was
me.
looking unearthly when, yeah, for us because we couldn't even imagine. We don't have any
Yeah.
studios. Yeah, we've never seen this. So, this like outlandish experience of seeing people doing leisure while
Hmm.
working or not even having go back home, being able to just sleep and relax at their workplace was like, wow, it's a
Yeah.
dream job, but
Yeah. And I like how we don't like call this country, it's Russia.
yeah, it's
If
Russia
you're
and
interested, it's Russia. But yeah, for me, when I once I saw this like offices, I decided, okay, I'm not even going to look any further. Game design is everything that I ever want to do. And I was just like settled at this like stage. And Marat, I remember you were very like still kind of looking to find your own passion, even though games were right there. Yeah, like and you've been also going from being like a director, like a writer, a programmer, like you could have been like
being a
anyone,
cook.
a cook, yeah. Like it was like all of the different possibilities. And I was like, but games are right there. And as of why you didn't choose gaming and maybe which priorities were different between like what you want for your job and for gaming, because I think it would be especially useful for people who might have the same priorities with you, who would think like, oh, okay, that's why what gaming does not meet.
I'm not the best example of a person who made the right decision of pursuing any education or career goals. Basically, my education was just unfinished international relations. Other side of me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not only a gamer. I've been into politics and I've been into history and all this diplomacy stuff. But it's just in Russia, it's really hard to finish this without being somehow affiliated with anything with something bad you don't want to be affiliated with, even just doing your diploma practice. Yeah, but I've done a couple of works, I would say, in journalism, which is really connected with government and stuff back in Moscow. it was about ecology, but anyway,
Mhm.
that's what makes me feel like I'm not only living this life for myself, but also contributing to making this world better for everyone, you know?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, and like correct me if I'm wrong, that you chose more of a maybe traditional kind of industry to work in because the impact that you wanted to bring was not in the field of entertainment, but more it's the like real practical application of your skills.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least I've tried, but anyway, I've ended up into like service industry working at IKEA and hoping that I will work at IKEA again. I'm ready to do stuff for the community and for the world to change, to fight for the good, but I'm not that creative to make games, and just to create something for me is a really big effort, even if the
Mm.
text, which I love writing, but yeah.
For me, I think it was absolutely vice versa. I don't want to say that, I'm such a creative person, but I am
Oh, but you
creative.
you you like theoretical stuff, kind of, if I will put it like this. I mean, of course, like is political studies are also theory and everything else, but at least you can like speak with people and do
Mhm.
kind of this stuff. But I'm sorry, I'm just putting it rough. Just sitting like 10 hours a day in front of the computer doing some math, coding, whatever it is. I mean, it's not for me.
Well, I didn't imagine it like as a 10-hour a day sitting at your computer type of job. Like I'm a person who always needs to do like different things because when I do one thing consistently for a very long time, I get bored and I need to switch. So that's why I had like so many, extracurriculars at school. That's why I had so many like student clubs and the hobbies. And for me, gaming is such like a versatile profession because you can become like you can be a programmer one day and then you can like just start drawing and randomly become like a technical game designer and
Yeah,
then you
that's
might even like shift to artist and then maybe you go to like production and do completely different thing underneath this like gaming umbrella games
yeah.
industry umbrella. There are like so many different ways and paths and I was just like so, I don't know, inspired by this and I couldn't imagine a better profession for myself.
But still, it looks like at the beginning of this profession, yeah, you program a lot, you sit a lot. If you encounter some bugs and errors, you just
Mhm.
meticulously, routinely sit and try to correct them all. Or if you present your game somewhere, you also like don't sleep nights and pull in all-nighters, right? Roughly put. Sit at one spot, do the same stuff, and yeah. To me, of course, I'm not into this field, and I
Mhm.
don't know all this like small details and everything else about the versatility of this. I just understand that it's not for me. I would not be able to, even if I was doing something like this, I would not be able to put my tasks in a way that I will never get bored. You know,
Mm.
I'll just concentrate on one thing and probably will burn out real quick.
Well, potentially. But we already talked how we had the first chance in high school where we chose like our universities.
Yeah,
So then we moved together to another city, to Moscow. And I actually was studying at the animation college for 1 year because there was just like no game design program. It only opened on my second year of college, so I immediately had to like drop out and start the very first game design program in
yeah.
Russia. And when I started like my classes, and I obviously like came home with all my assignments and stuff, and I chatted with you so much about all of this like theories which we had lectures on, and it was a very experimental program. So it was basically just game developers in our country from like the studios, the most like successful ones, just like decided to create this program and just like share their wisdom, which was like super cool. They
Yeah.
weren't like professors by like traditional means, but they gave us, I feel like, a lot of very kind of fresh views on stuff. So looking at me, haven't you been tempted?
Again, I do not know much about the whole process of doing art,
Mm-hmm.
but looking at you, I know. No,
Okay, now
thank you. No,
can you elaborate?
I just do not have the skills required for this. My brain functions differently, so I just can't. I cannot immerse myself into this. I cannot live by like one of my creations, like feel it. I cannot wake up and one day just like having this idea of, oh, damn, I need to create this. I'll start like this, and I'm making the whole plan for myself for like months, how I'll be creating this. I may be
Yeah.
stupid, but again, I need stuff which brings you results, which you see the like you do something and you see this effect almost immediately because I need this reward, I think, for myself. Or at least I need to do something with my hands, which I just feel good. I just feel good from it.
Yeah, I feel like it's an important distinction that I always had so many ideas. I could just like randomly wake up with an idea or like just, I don't know, come up with like so many ideas all of the time. And for me, it's almost like it would be a burden to work in an industry where I could not like just throw it all out. I feel like, with writers, it's very similar. If you have a story that you want to tell, you just cannot like hold it within yourself.
Yeah.
Like you want to share it with the world. And even though in game design profession, when you just start, you do not necessarily share a lot of your stuff, you just do someone else's stuff.
Yeah.
It's still important for you to have this medium to like pour your, I don't know, thoughts into.
Yep.
And yeah, I can imagine if you don't really have that many like thoughts to share, it would be,
Yeah, it's
yes,
almost,
tiring.
I think it's almost in everything connected to art.
Mm-hmm.
Either you do stuff which people give you, someone else's ideas, you polish them or you finish them, or you have so much things coming from inside you that you cannot hold them. Yeah. I'm more, yeah, I can do the finishing, polishing stuff, but there's not much opportunities to do this kind of job. A lot of workplaces need people who bring ideas, who the like the company or whatever it is, who other collective of people doing one
Mm-hmm.
project can benefit during the brainstorms and stuff like that. Potentially, of course.
Potentially.
I mean,
But
you can develop this skill if you want. I just
yeah,
don't.
but also, like it's not talking about gaming, like game design industry or like any like design field. What about the whole this umbrella of gaming? For example, there are legal stuff, recruiting, HR, there are management stuff like finances, localization. Have you ever considered these fields and why or why not? And like, what do you think about these
Well,
professions?
again, this thing sounds to me more like you're just searching for jobs. For example, you're connected with juridical stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're searching for a job, and you see one. You don't know anything about games, right? And you just see one vacancy in Ubisoft, and you just go for it. If you're a good lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be accepted. You not necessarily are the person who is passionate about gaming. You're
Yeah.
just a cool professional, and they hire you. So I don't see why not. I think even programmers, you can be doing stuff or like medical field, and then you switch into games. Why not?
Yeah, but for some reason, like talking with people and kind of seeing stuff online, people who are not really into games and, for example, are programmers, they do not really like working in the games industry because it's not necessarily higher, like salary wise,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely higher, like expectation and like all of this, amount of like deadlines. I feel like only in recent years, like our industry kind of stepped away from crunch and just like started being, normal work environment. So people do not really like this. And what I feel like a lot of people who works in the games, they like games themselves. They're like, yes, I'm a gamer. I have always played games like all my life throughout my childhood. Like my father played games with me or something like this. So it's really, I feel like a field driven by your own hobby, like your own love for games. And is I feel like another discussion of should we make our biggest passion in life our work, and how does it influence the relationship with this hobby? Because like right now, who would you say plays more video
Oh, I
games?
am, of course. I am. I'm also sitting 10 hours in front of the laptop, but just doing entertainment, absorbing entertainment, being entertained.
Yeah, just like now that's the thing is that we've both been gamers and we kind of started our relationship like hugely influenced by gaming.
Yeah,
But
but for
now,
Maria, it's more like a work,
yeah,
and she can play games.
now I
Just
would say I
yeah,
played much less games than before because not like that I feel guilty, playing because like it's a part, I feel like, of your profession to be on top of trends and like newest games.
Yeah, but you just
But
feel
also,
like that you need to play this game. If you don't play this game, you will just
yeah,
not be in current trends. And
because sometimes I feel like, oh, I cannot just continue playing. For example, Baldur's Gate. There are so many, like there is like this new Prince of Persia, and I already feel like, okay, I need to play this instead of Baldur's Gate because if it's already like more than
never played
50,
any Prince of Persia game before, but yeah.
for me, like the more hours I play, the more days I dedicate to a game, I start feeling anxious because I'm missing on so many like other games. So this is hard for me, and now I feel like I still love playing games and I play games a lot, but
Yeah,
also more common situation in the evening is that Marat is like playing, like I don't know, he speaks different game,
yeah.
and I just like see it here with the same like Unity editor and just like making my own game.
You still can have fun. You still can enjoy this. I would say that you still regard gaming as a hobby. You didn't go into this complete depressive stuff that it's only your work and everything else, but you still try to analyze every game from the perspective of a game designer.
Yeah, that's I feel like the problem with all of the profession who create something. You, for example, you become a film director, you could never ever again watch like a film, a movie without like analyzing it and thinking about it. So I feel like it's up to a person. Maybe for you, do you think like it kind of added to your will not to go to game design because you would understand that it can take away something from your hobby?
Yeah, so basically I love playing the games, all the games in the way that I just basically disassemble them and play on this bugs and glitches and everything else. But it's just for my own fun.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think if I've been developing them, I would be uh, scrutinizing them like, oh, they for sure didn't program this through. It's like I see this. I don't think that I would be that harsh, but even being gamer and knowing a little bit about coding and having experience already, like seeing games develop since my childhood, I've been playing since I don't know 4, 5 years. I still can say that some games are bad, and I think it's not just based on graphics or whatever people can may say nowadays. Just I feel that the game is bad. I see that the programming for this game is bad, and it's a bad game. The script is bad. Whatever the voiceover is bad. I can criticize the game for that, but I would not be as harsh as into going to deep down to stuff. So yeah.
I feel like QA industry was robbed of your being there because Marat is like perfect for getting like through all of these bugs because he's really thorough in his playthroughs. And for example, if he even thinks that there is an opportunity to break this like one part of the game, he will like stop and continue trying it to like to see all of his options. So I still feel like you shouldn't completely close your eyes on the gaming industry.
Maybe, of course, if I'm doing this for my fun.
Mm.
If I feel that it's not fun, I will not do this. That's it. If something doesn't bring you joy, that's my advice. Just don't do it. There are other possibilities, all of them. Not
Hmm.
all the time, but after some time, you can find something for yourself, and it will not be just forcing yourself into doing something.
Do you think that like it also influences that we're kind of like a couple and being both engaged would potentially ruin a relationship?
I remember one of our conversations back in the beginning of our relationship that if we both were artists, for example,
Hmm.
it's kind of a endless quarrel on who's better or whatever.
I can imagine that there are couples who both work in the same
Hmm.
industry and they're doing just fine. But for myself, I just feel like there is so much like good balance here where I have kind of this like very new, not super stable job. Let's like see all of this
Hmm.
layoff and stuff, you know. And
Hmm.
someone like you who do stuff with your hands, you can go and do some very like academic stuff, which I never had like brains to do. But you also can, I don't know, become a mechanic or a chef, a cook.
Oh, I just love
Still,
cooking
like,
food.
yeah.
We just have different priorities in life. I think you want to create something and put it out and show it to everyone and be like praised for something, be popular, whatever it is. It's just not that important to me. I'm good as a support and I'm good as doing something which I want to do. So I don't think it influenced me much. The thing which influenced me a lot is that you plan every your day, every your hour. So
Yeah.
looking at that probably takes away from my own planning because I see all
Mm.
this vision boards. Even like now we're recording, and it's like, yeah,
Did you
my
see?
future, my year. Maybe that's what's influencing this, but I think yeah, we still like complete each other. Very good compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you're like that because I'm totally aren't that like wise. And I would totally, if I
We're
would be
all about
married,
competition.
I would have, if I would be married to a game designer, I would constantly compete with you
Yeah,
and I would
that's
be jealous and I would be envious. I'm glad that we don't have to like compete at home for
yeah.
anything, for like, especially like, I don't know, fame and creation.
Well, you may be better at making games, but I'm still better at gaming, so.
Feel like we play just different types of games because Marat plays a lot of like competitive games and like shooters and overall the
And
games
a lot of RPGs
that
also.
require skills. And I am this,
And a lot of very meditative RPGs.
yeah, no, I'm still die hard. I'm sorry that Redemption has like a learning curve.
Come on,
And
Kingdom Come also has it, but it's you figure it out and it's cool.
I much more yearning for the creators, like what creators wanted to say with this game. So I'm really yearning for the story and even for the gameplay. I don't have to really play games on a maximum difficulty to understand what creator wanted this game to be.
Yeah.
Like it's enough for me to just like glimpse and like feel what it feels like to play this game like on hard mode, but then like switch it back. And that's how
Yeah.
I play in Baldur's Gate, just literally the novice mod. And honestly, I'm like not ashamed. So, if you had to speak with a person who is a gamer
Mhm.
and still thinks about, okay, should I do games or should I not do games? What would you share with this person in your experience? Like, how would you maybe reassure them that it's okay not to go to gaming if you're a gamer, or maybe I don't know.
Okay. So again, if you feel an urge to create and to share, try yourself. If you have an idea of making your hobby your career, my advice is just try it.
Mm-hmm.
If you fail, well, I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, you need to learn how to code or something, but I don't know, experience shows that you can learn a programming language from start to finish in like 6 months.
I would say like you learn how to make games while making games. Like
Yeah,
game designer is the person who make games, so
you
you don't
can
have to do anything. Like just make games and
you
be a
can
game
you can
maker.
download a free version of any engine and
Mm-hmm.
try yourself there. Do small things like silly mods in Unity or do something bigger in Unreal or I've been making games in Notepad, for example, yeah, as part
Mm-hmm.
of the Pascal ABC. I've been making games there. I've been making games in Python, small ones like Snake copies or like Doodle Jump. I mean, you try yourself. You do this if you like this. Continue. If you don't like this, then just play games as a player, as a gamer. Don't take the games from your life. If you want to create them, create them. If you want to play them, just play them. Don't feel ashamed for not being like a old game designer, like making stuff if you just like playing games. Yeah, that's what my opinion is.
Everyone wants to try making at least one game, but it does not necessarily mean that you want to make a profession out of it. For example, I wanted to like make a clay pot
Yeah.
or embroidery, but it doesn't mean that I want to make it like a serious hobby. So yeah, I really second it about trying and like thinking about if you want to do it, every day of your life, especially as an indie dev, like every spare hour of your life.
Yeah, that sounds more like, in my opinion, also is more about indie game design. If you
Mm.
pursue yourself in a corporate world, maybe it's completely different. You do not need to learn many years how to make a game. Maybe I'm wrong.
I would say so. Like I'm this person who got not one and not two, but like almost three educations in game design because I have like a whole bachelor's, almost a whole master's, and I also studied in another university as my exchange year. So basically, like day one, since 18 years old, I've been pursuing games industry. And I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like the best path to take to be in the games because I see a lot of people from completely different industries already having experience in different fields just like going into games and thriving because I feel like game designer the most important thing is to have as many experiences as you can. Wanna like learn how to, I don't know, do tarot readings, look how to do Rubik's cube. Like nothing is extra knowledge as being like a game designer. You want to like you can learn how to weld or like how to, I don't know.
Yeah, everything's useful.
Yeah, because everything can become like a plot for a game. Everything can become like an inspiration for an interesting mechanic. So I would say just to work in games, you don't have to start working in games. And I feel like for myself, I have no regrets about my education or anything, but I also feel like I would have been just fine if I get got first education in like computer science
Yeah.
or in like fine arts even. I think that like inevitably I would always return to games. No one looks at my diploma and they're like, oh, she's a professional game designer. We will
Yeah.
hire her because she has a diploma. Like, no. If you're a gamer and you're doubting if you can make your own games, totally go for it because it is possible. Everyone can learn how to do it. It's all skills that you develop throughout the years. You can do it. You can make your passion into your occupation, you know. But I also wouldn't discourage people who want to pursue more like traditional route, but still like looking into games. You can return to games. Thank you so much for watching, Marat. Thank you so much for coming
You're
to
welcome.
my very thriving channel
Yeah,
with such a
it's been
subscribers.
really joyful to speak with you about this. Yeah, I'm glad that I've been dragged into this podcast, as I already mentioned.
We have so many topics yet to discuss with Marat. For example, our second one that we want to do is about gender in games and how women and men have different like opportunities and I don't know different perception of game design. So please subscribe to my channel. Consider giving us a like, comment maybe,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Cheers
cheers.
and cheers.
Bye.
Bye.